Today is May 7th. The Yankees were about to win a series in the turf, down on the turf, and then they blew a 6-0 lead, so they lose the series on the turf. They don't win the series on the turf.
Talking Yanks with old John Boy Jake.
Did the music end?
Mm-hmm.
So going on, everybody. Welcome to Talkin Yanks. It's episode number 903, brought to you by SeatGeek. My name is Jimmy. Jake is here. BBD's here. We're all wearing blue shirts. I'm the only one with a hat on. Jake's the only one without spectacles on. And we're going to talk about the Yankees series where they played the Rays down on the turf. How are you, Jake?
James, Davis, everyone live with us and listening after the fact. Jimmy's got the beard looks nice. He's got his John Boy Media hat on from the shop. I've got a Jam shirt on too. We paint a picture, and that's what we do in these episodes all the time. And yeah, man, I mean, we let's be honest, we were all kind of hyped, right? Like the whodunit Yankees kind of done it down on the turf. Cole, pitcher of the month from April, and how good he's been. 6-0. You're getting contributions from Hicks and Oswaldo and Bader climbing the MVP boards, and then it all comes shuffling down. So that was tough. I mean, I went into this series I said I'm hoping the Yankees can win one game. They did. It's just funny they've kept their streak going of winning their losses and losing their wins. That's the new formula after the first month of winning the wins and losing the losses.
Yeah.
It was like literally after Boone said that quote on Talkin Yanks, they flipped.
It was going to be really weird if they won again and it was like, well, shit, okay, now they've won they've won the last two series and the only losses were in one-win losses. Like, maybe we're wrong and this team's doing it, but we're not wrong because the team's not really doing it. Although the 6 runs were nice today. Bullpen decisions since the last time we talked to Boone have been like real weird. I don't know. It almost, in a crazy way, it's like, they lost, so now we get to be a bit more honest with ourselves and not try to put makeup on a pig or whatever that saying is.
What's that saying?
I think that is
put
makeup on a pig.
You didn't have to dance. You nailed it.
Yeah. I just wasn't positive at first. So I don't know. We can burn. We can get into the games. We'll do awards. Bader's back. DJ. Some of the good guys are playing good. Judge is supposed to come back on Tuesday. Is that the only housekeeping?
Sevy's been funny. He threw a sim game, and then he announced to the media today that he hated that. He thinks he didn't need a sim game. He was ready to pitch against actual competition. And now, building on top of that, he's lined up to throw Wednesday, which the minor league team has an 11 a.m. game lined up, and Sevy has kindly told the Yankees, fuck that, man. Which I don't know. I'm half on his side, half not. So that's, some good Sevy news mixed in with some silly Sevy news.
Yeah, that sucks, man. I mean, there's just such a foundation of untrust between Sevy and the Yankees.
Both sides are out.
Both sides are out. It's just like a relationship where you would go to therapy and they would just say, just leave each other. Because no matter what they say, Sevy's arm could be dangling off his body. And he would be like, I'm ready to go. You guys are wrong. And Sevy could be pumping 100-mile-per-hour fastballs for, a 2-hour window. And the Yanks would be like, let's push you back a week. I don't know if you're quite right. And that's just the state of Sevy and the Yankees.
Yep. Yeah, I do think, I don't know how much Sevy will get this year. I think he'll give the Yankees a little final FU tour in a good way for us.
But he's not completely in the right,
Oh, no. He lost a privilege. I think And I don't think it's a Sevy thing. Like, I think DJ lost a privilege after last year trying to play through his toe stuff that, hey, man, like, you know, Sevy, you injured yourself again multiple times trying to rehab. You know, these players are all wired differently, and I think the only funny thing here is I think normal, everything considered, yeah, don't do the 11 a.m. game. Like, I think if you're the Yankees, why would you say that? Like, I think they're doing that just to be annoying at this point, because you will never, the Yankees will play, what, one Sunday 11:30 brunch game, and they'll all dread it, and no one will care. Like, if I'm Sevy and I'm rehabbing and I'm trying to get into a starting pitching routine, I'm not doing that game. But I think it's funny that they are a pissy old married couple that are like, no, let go do that, Sevy. But no way, man.
Yeah, so that's the Sevy update. Rodon is got chronic back pain.
Well, it's not pain, right? It just doesn't work right.
I don't know. I don't know.
Condition.
I mean,
It's chronic.
don't get your hopes up for Rodon pitching this season. If we were to pass along things that has been passed along to us that are like unverified, unsourced, whatever, just like emotions, is some people are just like, I don't think it's going to happen.
Some of the weirdest updates I've seen from a pitcher.
But we were told that like 2 weeks ago when they were still not really saying, like they were acting like he was coming back. And then when these happened, you know, in the office, I was like, yeah, we kind of heard he's not looking good for a while.
I mean, I think it currently falls into the category of doctors are smart and stuff. Doctors are also like real people. Like, you have beers. I've seen doctors get drunk and stuff. They don't know what's going on with him. And they're too embarrassed to say that because the man is in no pain, but his back doesn't work. So, yeah, that's the situation. And that's an awful update.
I don't even get that update. Who does?
Doesn't hurt.
Any other updates? Peraza's not on the IL, but still not in their good favor. Bowers avoided the IL from the last series. Or is that 2 ago? I don't even know.
Is Judge like confirmed back Tuesday? Did they like say he'll be back as soon as he can?
I don't believe they've said otherwise, and that they've said that from the jump that he'll be back Tuesday.
Hoke has been saying that, which I assume Hoke is getting that from people within the Yankees. I don't think that's an assumption. Donaldson worked out with Judge because everyone's down in Tampa, so they had like Tampa Yankees party day. But there was no update on him. He had a funny quote that Judge looked good.
Yeah. No update on Donaldson, huh?
No.
I think I did see he and Stanton resumed baseball activities, but
love that.
That's
They went
never
to the
meant
field.
anything.
They started showing up.
No, they got into the pool. Wasn't that Harrison Bader's first update like a month and a half ago? He was swimming.
He's swinging underwater. Took a couple wet swings.
I used to do that.
Canely, anything?
They said he was the last update we've gotten. We haven't heard anything in a minute. Was that he was going to be close to like his 60-day IL thing from the start of the season, but I don't think we've gotten a recent.
I don't think anything since whatever the last update was that he like did throw, but
And Hicks on that last play in Game 3, just now, did he limp off and go to the tunnel?
I think that was
I think with sadness.
I think it was just the pitcher. He was on the top step after the funky play because he was covered in weird raised field stuff that didn't look like
chalk.
Anything that's ever been on a baseball field.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the housekeeping then.
Housekeeping.
And Nestor will make his start.
And this show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Getting to know yourself can be a lifelong process, especially because we're always growing and changing. Sure do. I go forward in time, back in time. Working with a therapist can help you get closer to the best version of you. Therapy is all about deepening your self-awareness and understanding. And if you're thinking about giving therapy a try, BetterHelp is a great option. Convenient, flexible, affordable, entirely online. So why don't you visit BetterHelp.com/Yanks today? Get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Yanks. There's a link in the descriptee if you want it.
Oh, wow. Yeah. All right, let's burn game number 1 so everybody can find out what happened in game number 1.
Yanks head down to Tampa for the first time since spring training. They try to refill their burrito filter of series wins with Johnny on the mound. Meanwhile, OG Talkin Yanks burn celeb Yanni Chirinos would take the pill for Tampa. Well, it's Friday night and everybody is randy. A Rosarena homer, the Yandy man can. Diaz is shot in a couple RBI groundouts. It's 4-0 Rays. Ew. It's a Glibber Ribber RBI double for Glaber. Hit me, Bader, one more time. 3-run shot lands back in Bronxville. We're tied up at 4, but it wasn't a wonderful evening for the Yanks. Off of Bauer's glove, Yanks can't get a runner home from third with less than 2 outs. Rays win 5-4 final.
The Bader homer was wild. It was like, whoa, because it didn't feel like the Yanks were in this game at all. It didn't feel like anything was alive. And then that was cool. And then I don't know what was more of a gut punch. Well, the Bauer's ball that drops, they bobble. They think they get him out at the plate. I never really thought they did. But Bowers and Bader have a bro laugh hug jog sesh together, and I haven't seen pictures of that on the internet. But if it was a successful play, that would be like the new picture of like, we're here to save the Yankees, Bauer and Bader, because they like wrapped their arms around each other and had a laugh and a jog. And now it's erased from all time.
We've been lucky enough to go to the suite section at Yankee Stadium, and each one has a Yankee player number. Like, that would be the picture next to it, because it was cute, and it was like 1940s cute. Like, when they'd be like, DiMaggio was really good friends with Hank Azaria, and you'd be like, and they'd show that picture.
Hank Azaria.
The Simpsons.
But, okay, so that's the first gut punch, like that whole mess. Like, oh, left field's been a problem all year, and it's still, oh, boy. Or is it a bigger gut punch when all of that, the challenge subsides, and then King's on the mound, and you're like, what? What?
Yes.
Why wouldn't you bring King in first?
They're stealing outs. I mean, he pretty much admitted to it, and hey, we're talking to Boone Tuesday, and we have a lot of bullpen questions, which we hadn't really until right after the last time we talked to them. So set us up there. Good one, Booney. No, man, that was pretty unreal, because it's kind of, I think it's like the opposite of what we saw from the Rays even today. Was, they used Jason Adam in a good lane, but they used him in the 8th, and the Rays, a lot of their moves today, I know you were wondering, like, the infield back when the Yankees scored their game-tying run. The Rays have confidence in their team that, if they knew, and this sounds really dumb, and I'll throw it in my analytic interview binder, but they want to throw up a 0 as quickly as possible. Like, they'd rather go to their high-leverage guy earlier, because if they do, that'll give their offense a chance to put up a crooked number, because that's what their offense has done all year. And they don't have to worry about being behind, and then you get more pressure and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, Booney was trying to get Jimmy Cordero through the bottom of the lineup.
And you hear what he said?
I watched the postgame, but I don't have it verbatim.
Jack Curry commented on this as well, because he was like, well, we wanted him for the 2 righties, meaning Siri, the 9-hole hitter, and then Yandy, the leadoff batter. But there's a 3-batter minimum.
Right.
So were you going to then with 2 outs walk Wander and then bring King in for the righty? Like what, how do you, I don't know. I didn't really get that. But also I want like bring King in. And also Bowers catches the ball.
Right.
And we don't care at all. So every bad happening, right? Like Clay in the 9th inning in the last series for that 1 out, IKF catches that ball in left. We have nothing to talk about. Bowers catches this ball. We have nothing to talk about. I'm not helping. Like, I'm not saying
that snow cones in the top of Bauer's glove. We never think of it again.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
but when you have such, yeah, I don't know.
It falls into it's not a new theory of baseball, but you have to give yourself the most opportunities. And I think we even saw it in Harrison Bader, who's going to get a lot of love this series, that, he's an MLB bat who plays all-world defense, and he gets hot and cold with the stick. And the more options you have like that, instead of some of the guys we've seen in the second half of this Yankees lineup, you have a chance to have a big series. So, and that goes to defense too. And when Judge is in center, then you're losing defense in right and in center. So, yeah, man, our chat was flowing. Yanks chat was flowing this weekend. And I also had just the dark thoughts of like, wait, wasn't Brett Gardner a sacred human in this organization for a decade and a half because he played all-world left field? I know there's a lot of center field in there too, but more recently, he played a Gold Glove left field at Yankee Stadium, which the Yankees have like the biggest left field cores. And now this year, the guys we've been running out there aren't left fielders. So it's
also
it's
not
tough.
not even like they're like at the catching position, they forewent offense and just said, we want defense. And after years of saying like Gary's value as a catcher is great because he hits and catchers don't hit, they completely flipped the script and said, no, we don't care if our catcher hits. In left field, after years of Brett Gardner being such a great defender out there and kind of like beating their chest to that, it's not like they're flipping and saying, well, we'd rather a guy in left field who can hit for power and like just a masher, because you don't have guys that can hit nor field with 100% confidence. And you have 5 different guys you've ran out there. IKF, Oswaldo Cabrera, Aaron Hicks, Franchi, did he get some left?
Yep.
And Bowers now. None of those guys are A left fielders.
None of those guys are
Maybe.
B.
Yeah, no, I was going to say none of those guys are B.
I think Oswaldo has a chance, but it's also his 5th best position, and he's 24. So no, I don't.
This has nothing to do with injuries. This is just how they made the roster.
I mean, I think Cashman's presser the other day was straight up. I misread the left field market without saying that, because it's kind of been the missing piece all along.
Did you see the stat? I mean, I texted it, so you did see it. The Yankees have 33, maybe more now, but before game 3, 33 total bases from the left field position for the seat. 33 total bases.
It's not good.
Beyond bad. But so that was the moments of the game. Bader getting were there any other moments before the big one? Because that was the talking point. There was
no, man. Again, this was almost a proud game because it was like Harrison Bader's back and he tied the game, and the Yankees are showing fight. Like I think that's where, if people are maybe expecting more cracked spirits, the Yankees were walking into a buzzsaw anyway with half a team versus a good team. This team is fighting. The good guys are fighting. Even, we're starting to get 1 or 2 performances from the bottom of the lineup that it's like, okay. I want to say, I was anxious watching today's game. Once it got to 6-2, it was the most anxious I've watched Yankees baseball all year. And I say that in a good and a bad way. I turned to my dad. Part of me was enjoying it. I was into the game. I was locked in, but I was also fucking stressed and kind of thought we could lose.
That's how I felt after the Bader home run too. It like cracked me into another gear of like, oh shit, I care. I turned to my dad after it went to 6-2 in game 3, and I just said, "Oh boy, it was the 6th inning. A lot of game left. Like, uh-oh." So that was game 2. I mean, I don't know if there's anything else to chat about. Johnny Brito, I don't think he's going to get mentioned later in the episode. If you want to take a crack and chat with him, I mean, I think I don't know who when Sevy comes back who it is, but it's not great. Been great.
Would you? How about this? Do you have him on the same tier as Clark? Like, is it a fair rate? Say it's 2 more starts till Sevy comes back for both of them. Do you think it's basically whoever's better in these next 2?
Kind of. Like, Clark helped himself out with his last start. I'm looking real quick, but I mean it's. Who's the next game? Like, give me the next 2 games, the teams.
So Clark and Johnny both get Oakland, the final 2 games after Nestor. And then Clark gets Tampa at home. Johnny gets Toronto on the road.
And if Sevy comes back, could you give Clark Toronto on the road and move Sevy to Tampa?
No, Clark.
Wouldn't that just be pushing him a day?
Sevy's, I think, 2 starts away.
Well, you need a rain out. So Clark can face Toronto on the road and not Tampa.
Let's see.
Because that would be Tampa at home. So it'd just be it'd be like 8 out of the 9 batters were lefty and the short porch is there.
Weather.com. Good site.
They really went for their niche on that one.
No, I don't.
5.
I don't think
the Rays can play 5 lefties versus Clark.
Some good ones.
Yeah.
Looks like a pretty good forecast this week, which I can't believe that's bad news on a Talkin' Yanks episode.
June already has 6 off days. Give us some rainouts, baby. Give us a wet June.
The music, Beebs. That was filthy.
All right. I think that's all for this game. The only thing is, like, if you want to steal outs with Cordero, Ian Hamilton only went 0.2.
Right.
Like if you need to get the bottom of the order and the top and then go to King, like you could have wrote out Hamilton. It was just such a multiple ways, I think, unnecessary move.
I agree.
But again, Bowers catches that fucking ball.
Right. And you stole the outs and you saved your bullpen for a couple other winnable games.
So that's why there's always an out there. Well, he got a fly ball to left. Like, it's not his fault.
Bowers.
Let's do game 2 of the series. It's the second one, Jake. The middle one.
Game 2 in Tampa looking like a Munich court case. Rasmussen versus German. As Drew and Domingo would tee it up. Bottom 1, Escargot, Manmargo. 2 RBI double for Coach Ballgame's most electric player of the 2020 World Series. I note that because the game went quiet for a bit. Zeros on the board into the 8th. He is not man, he is machine. David John with the RBI double, like the Hogwarts groundskeeper greeting the boy who lived. Hello, Harry. Bader does it again with the 2 RBI single, flips the scoreboard 2-1 to 3-2. Domingo to Wandy to Ron to Clay to Ian. Hamilton gets his first career MLB save. Yanks win 3-2 final.
Bizarre game, Jake. This felt like a clear-cut loss, but the Yankees won it.
They win their losses, Jim.
They win their losses. It's not bad. Like the first, like there was some decent plays sprinkled in, so it's like, all right. But there was some sloppy ball.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. 0 on the scoreboard into the 8th. They put I don't know.
Yeah.
Ian
I mean, good
Hamilton.
really pitching. Like Herman gives up the 2 in the first, right?
2 in the first.
And wait, what happened in the first? Isn't there something that happened in the first that we got to talk about?
They scored on the Margot double. Let me see. Grounds crew member breakdancing? I saw that video going around. I don't think that's what you're talking about.
No. Higgy lost track of the count. Thought it was strike 3 to end the inning. And then the next pitch, I think, was the double. And I have no idea if it coincides, but then Rizzo was having at his lectern talking to Higgy in the dugout after that, and the broadcast assumed they were talking about that, like staying focused or
yeah.
I have no idea.
Man, we're in a weird part of the season where the Yankees are basically 500, and it looks bad. It's not awful, although with where the division is at is awful. That I think we can read into all those things so much more just because you can. And like the other was someone tagged us in something today, and they were like, Judge was talking to Bader after the game yesterday, and he looked pretty serious. And I don't know, just looked like 2 guys talking in the dugout. So, I mean, with that situation, there's probably a conversation, but Rizzo's also been oddly cheery through this part of the season. Is that a weird comment?
He was cheery with the home run he hit today. Like, really?
Like, there's been a couple times they've cut to the dugout, like, late in the game, sad Yankee times, and Rizzo's been, like, smiling and bubbly, which, again, I'm not doing it as the, like, this guy, we're in New York City, pal. I just think he's kind of on because he's an MLB veteran, he's on the Boone train of, it's a long season, things are going to click, like, let's not panic that he's been playing that card.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know.
Sound off.
Did we forget in the first game to talk about that backup catcher, Higashioka, pinch hit for 5-hole DH? And I won't add more to it.
Yeah.
Just say again, the Yankees pinch hit for their designated hitter in the 5-hole with their backup catcher.
I tweeted out Higgy pinch hit, not for a catcher, Cinco de Mayo, here we are. And some people were confused by that because it's not great English. It never is. But, yeah, we're here. The season is afoot.
Back to game 2. Anything else? They win. That Kevin Kelly dude is Weissert. I saw his sweeper, and I was like, that's Weissert's sweeper. Like, that's going to get rocked. I don't even know if that's the pitch the Yankees hit, but it was the same thing. Like, there's guys that have this new sliding sweeper where you're like, whoa, that's cool. That's good. And then there's these guys that are just like floating like a Frisbee, like just like kind of lightly tossing it like they're playing can jam in their backyard, and it's got a ton of movement. And you're like, that's nice. And you're like, no, it's not, man. It's so slow. So I was excited when they got to him because I saw that pitch. I almost tweeted out, Kelly is Weissert? And I didn't because that's not worth whatever happened. Whatever.
Not worth it. Kelly's got a little more arm funk that I think allows him to do it a little better. But, yeah, I mean, he's gross. And I don't disagree with the main idea of the topic that the next baseball evolution will be like, some of these sweepers are actually, they're moving so much because you need the velo behind it. That's like the whole secret.
It was nice to see a rally with multiple hits with single, double, single, double. That was cool. I also thought it was weird as shit that Bader came up and hit the same exact single 2 at-bats in a row.
Yeah.
Like the second one was nice because it scored the runs and all, but that was like real. I was like, what?
And by the way, there was Willie Calhoun. In the first game, I mentioned there was runner on third, less than 2 outs. They didn't get it done in that game. Willie Calhoun in the middle of that rally, same situation, pops out to second, and you're like, okay, baseball games come down, a good baseball game comes down to 2 or 3 different winning plays, and was that going to be it? And then Bader chunks his pitching wedge out there, and we celebrate.
We celebrate.
We go into cold day to win a series against these fools.
Unbelievable that we go into cold day to win a series. And I can't wait for you to tell me what happened because I missed it.
Ian Hamilton. Wow.
Oh, Hamilton for the save, unless that comes up later.
I think it will, probably.
All right. Game number 3. GC on the ball.
Biggest game of the season. Garrett Cole, April's AL Pitcher of the Month, would take on the Rays on an opener day. Fitting for those spring allergies, Josh Fleming with the bulk for the Rays. Top 3, HR Tony Rizzo. That's the anthem. Get your damn hands up. And for the 3rd day in a row, the Rays get caught by Master Bader. Harry homers. It's 3-0 Yanks. And why not double it? RBI doubles from Torres and Hicks. That? Oswaldo sac fly. It's 6-0 Yankees. And on a cold day, they'd cruise to 2 in the 5th, 5 in the 6th. The Rays are on top, 7-6. Aroo! Bader, Oswaldo, Trevino. Oh my. Single, double, ribby. The lads tie it up in the 7th. Buenos, Cantos, both pens perform. And you guys know by now the Yanks lost, so whatever. Tampa wins 8-7 final.
Yeah. That's it. You burned it.
That's it.
It was super cool for a while, and I guess the conversations about the super coolness will just float into awards as we talk about the not super cool here. I want to go over the decision with Cole. I mean, clearly he was laboring. It didn't even seem like he was putting up a fight on the mound when they came out. I thought he looked more perturbed. Dude, I am tired as shit. And don't make me stand around longer. Either I'm pitching or take me out. Which usually Cole is a little more standing tall, head down. I'm in this game.
Right.
He wasn't really putting up a fight. So I was like, really? I don't know. But I want to, we didn't do the pregame show, and I want to look at the bullpen budget. So Hamilton wasn't available. And this would have been the middle of the 6th inning.
Let me check. Yes, the 5th, Cole gives up the first 2 runs, and then he strikes out a Rosarena and Lau, kind of looking good, and then he comes back out for the 6th.
Yeah, and it would be middle. I don't know if he got an out before, but he was I don't mind bringing him back up for the 6th, obviously, but in the middle of the 6th, there was a point where it was all right, I don't know if they had anyone up, but anyway, so you need the 9th, the 8th, the 7th, 3.5 innings. They had an inning of Clay Holmes available, an inning of Michael King available.
I think they did say on the broadcast Ron was out today.
So that's what we didn't know?
I believe so.
I don't know why he was. I hope he's not hurt then.
Yeah, I don't know if it was 3 and 5 or
Wandy's available. Cordero's available. Hamilton's not. And King's available for 1. So King for 1, Clay for 1, Wandy for 1, and then Cordero and Abreu are the other. So you have 3. So maybe that's why they didn't want to use Cordero or Abreu. They wanted Cole to finish that inning and then go Wandy, Clay, Wandy, King at the end.
They end up using 5 of those guys. I mean, it's tough because I think if King had a cleaner inning, I think he would have been available for 1+. He ends up having a 24-pitch inning.
And it's his first time going on a day's rest after surgery. And I do think, I don't know if he had a sub 10 inning, definitely. If he was 15, I don't know. I genuinely I would. Wonder.
Early teens. I think they kind of would have gone for it because it was a big game. And, I think they're going to take Oakland very not seriously, which will be interesting. Yeah, man, it was easily the worst Cole has looked this season, which when you put that out there, it makes you feel a little like, okay, it clearly felt like it was an option to take him out of the game, and they did not. So
and then Cordero comes in first, and he does not look Siri back at second, and he scores from second on a ground ball. So is Cordero gonna pitch, and then like shit like that happens? Bowers misses the ball, then bobbles it, and they score. And
yeah, I should probably describe it a little better for if you didn't see it. Siri stealing from second on the play. Tapper to Cordero, kind of between the catcher and first. And Siri's one of the fastest players in the league, one of the most electric players in the league. That with that speed, he comes around third like a bat out of hell. And yeah, Cordero doesn't even flinch when I think if you're tuned into the baseball game, you knew there should have been a flinch. He doesn't flinch, and Cordero just gets the out at first on like a pitcher's bad throw to first, and Siri scores without a throw easily. So, yeah, I mean, that was the difference between some Rays and some Yankees baseball there for sure. And I wonder, Trevi's got to be yelling on that.
He was. In the one replay, he was screaming. He was like jumping and screaming.
And yeah, that's, I'm even replaying it. If Cordero does turn his head,
I think he just stops him in his tracks. Like, I think Siri throws the brakes on rounding third, and then you turn and you get the out, and he's stuck at third. Yeah, when I played in my head.
I just wonder if he even gets the out at first. I wonder if Jimmy C winds up and opens one up to third. I guess why I wasn't as hurt was as I was replaying that with Jimmy Cordero, I didn't see like the awesome outcome.
It was just hold him to third.
It felt like there was a 5% like he dots one back to third and Siri's picked off and like awesome. I don't know. I guess I unfortunately wasn't shocked by the result, and it's a little bit of a shot at all pitchers, not just Jimmy Cordero.
What did you think about Holmes when he came in, coming out in the seventh inning for that middle of the order to lower of the order, righty lane? It was, Ramirez, Paredes,
Lau, Ramirez, Paredes. So he gets the one left.
So lefty, righty.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked that move because I was like, oh, are we changing our attitude on Clay? This isn't like the heart of the lineup, Like if you told me that was Yandy, Wander, and Randy, the Ans, I would be like, oh shit, that's still the closer. They're just using him in the most deadliest Rays lane. The Ans. Whoa, Brandon after that. Yandy, Wandy, Randy, Brandon. Fuck the Rays. That's probably some secret.
Okay.
I like that. Did you?
Yeah, I mean, Clay looks good, and there are actually a couple long at bats, and Clay wins, and we reward that. I mean, I don't know. Clay has to be a part of this team for now, especially if we need to be successful. I mean, you love what Hamilton's doing, and we're starting to get to the point of the season that you're like, who are the guys going to be that have a nice year for us? And Hamilton's entered that conversation where, I just want Clay getting some less high leverage danger spots, because clearly for what he's feeling and where he's at right now, those aren't good lanes for him.
Yeah. Although he did look good, I thought, today and yesterday.
But, I do think there's just a slight amount of playing the result. Because say if Lau hits his ball through the infield and then Ramirez and Paredes come up and hit, could be different. But it was a good clean outing for Clay. He just needs more of those. And, hey, point to the other team across the field, because the Rays, right after Clay comes out, they put in Jason Adam in the 8th because he's their best reliever. So, like, you can still empower Clay.
Yeah.
And not treat it like a 90s, like, you lost the closer gig.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's the middle ground this move was. And I liked his at-bat to, it wasn't Lau, so maybe it was Ramirez. they were very much riding that outside line, slider away, two seam in, and keeping it on the outside. My dad was like, now bust them in. I was like, no, I think they're staying, just crossing the seam on the outside. And they did it, and they got the strikeout, I believe, on the two seamer to end it after he fouled off the sweeper. And to me, I was like, that was his spots. I think all those pitches were executed well. So I liked that.
Yeah,
especially the two seamer.
I think Jack Curry retweeted someone, but I think that was a Jack Curry tweeted it. 17 pitches from Clay Holmes. Pitch it in the 11 were sliders and sweepers. So
yeah,
while he might be hunting the sinker still a little bit, he went to his other pitches and they worked.
Yeah, he used it a little bit more as a setup. They have it listed as a changeup in ESPN, but that's not right. Maybe that movement they have as changeup.
Yeah, I think what it was is he has like an actual sweeper now. He has like the tight slider and he has like a sweeping. So I'd assume that's the slider, but I don't know. Slambio, baby.
Trombio. At one point, the Yankees had, 2 on and no outs, and the bottom of the order folded in the 7th inning. Or was that game 2?
Let's see. They scored in the 7th. They scored the run to tie it up in this game. And they still had a couple base runners on, 2 outs.
Maybe I was thinking of game 2.
Yeah. They don't score in extras. The Rays do.
No, top 7th. Bader singles. Cabrera hits the ground rule double, 2nd and 3rd. And then that was the Trevino ground out. And then the Hicks walk. And then the Volpe strikeout. That was like, nice pitch.
Yeah, I think Volpe, the first couple there, were pitches to hit, and he didn't get them. Yeah, no, I mean, man, this was another very winnable game, and whether that's, in your opinion, a Boone decision, whether that's one more hit, as well. Glaber makes that great play at second to throw across the diamond and get the runner at third, and Oswaldo can't pick it, and that leads to a run. That's, you dive into these games, and I think that's why we're, not more melancholy.
When do the rules wear off? Like King back to back, or first time 1 day rest. Hamilton back to back. I don't know why Marinaccio was down, because the 30 pitches rule nor the 2 days in a row rule apply to him. So I hope he's not banged up or something's going on. But if Marinaccio's down and what by whatever rule or situation, you have to go to Albert Abreu in extra innings. And when do the rules fade? We're first week of May here, so 5th week of the season, but King's got to pitch again if this is June, right? And we're still like fighting in the division. So when do the rules get a little loosened? Because that was bad timing when you look up and you're like, Abreu's in. Well, I guess per their own rules, he's the only one available.
Yeah, and Abreu got out of it last time. He actually did a good job in the 10th, and that would be the only, Jim, you and I have had this in our analytics binder, and it's just wild the league doesn't. They get the first out. Why don't you set up the double play? Like, the trailing run doesn't matter. It still kind of blows my mind a little bit.
Can we ask Boone that?
Sure.
Because I've wanted to ask managers that for a year and a half now.
And I think I saw a stat that the Yankees in extra inning games are 11-2 at home and 1-7 on the road since the new rule.
I wonder if that just goes across baseball being the
I would assume it does, but
team.
I know all the baseball purists, this rule drives them insane, and yet baseball players actually kind of like it because it ends their workday early. If that's true, though, that's like a disaster. Like the home team basically
there's got to be a more creative way to end their workday earlier, I guess. But yeah, I don't. If you get the first out, we've said this on Talking Baseball, Talking Yanks for a while now, since the rule came into play. If you get the first out and it's a tie game, right? You get the first out, walk, unless the matchup is incredibly favorable, walk the next batter, set up. Now you have the option to get 2 outs on 1 pitch. And if the second batter doesn't matter, we should ask him.
Okay.
I don't know. Sucked. Let's get to awards, because there are some honey spots, I guess.
Ooh.
Or
You know what the honey spot for me is, Jim?
barrels.
Caldera Lab.
Oh.
They create high-performance men's skincare products by combining pharmaceutical-grade science, along with nature's purest and most potent ingredients. All about that. 9 out of 10 men experience healthier and visibly improved skin. I'm going to break this one down for the fellas. Bad skin, bad. This is not the
That's
play.
what they call it that.
Good skin, good. People like the good skin, and Caldera Lab can bring you that with their clean slate, their base layer, and a product that they themselves call the good. Again, using my analytics. That's where you want to be, fellas. So go take care of it, and you'll get 20% off with code Yanks at calderalab.com. 20% off, CALDERA lab.com. Use code Yanks. Unlock your youthful glow. I was looking at myself when I said that. Get ready for summer with Caldera Lab. There's a link in the description.
Awards. First award we give out here on Talking Yanks is
Pride of the Yankees.
Pride of the Yankees.
Pride of the Yankees.
Yeah.
Pride of the Yankees. Bader for me, man. Bader almost was like he was at a party, an awesome party, and everyone was like jamming out, and he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna go get." This is 1970s, 70s. I'm gonna go get a sixer. So he runs to the gas station and comes back, and while he was at the gas station, someone was dancing on the glass table with some girls and broke through it, and like the girl planted her hand when she landed, and there were cuts everywhere and she's bleeding, and they had to like get her in a car and find the most sober person there and drive her to the hospital. And everyone that was left there was like cleaning up the glass, and they just got the glass cleaned up and put away, but the music was off. And Bader comes back and he's like, "What's going on?" And then they just see him and they turn the music on, but he doesn't know what happened.
He kind of gives the party permission to start again.
Yeah, he's like, you paused it for me? You're good.
Everyone else felt weird starting the party again because of Glass
But what
Girl.
happened was
But Bader came
Glass
back.
Girl. No, you know what? You're right, Bader. Let's just start playing close, fun
What
games
else are we
again.
going to do? We might as well have a good night.
Last time I was here, we were in the playoffs. I was hitting home runs in big spots, and we were beating teams. So why don't we just go back to that? That's what Bader was doing. But yeah, I mean, what a series. What a hero. Singles, those were nice. The home runs, it was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it started last series when we were celebrating his good at-bats.
Yeah.
And I think Brennan Cuddy had a good article about him using Pete Alonso's style bat and how he thinks that's helping him. So, okay. Go Mets.
He seems like a new equipment guy to me.
Go Mets, go Gators. They were both Florida Gators together, so that's cool. And yeah, man, they were professional at bats. He's a professional player. He's had some good seasons in Major League Baseball. He's had a little bit of an injury history. It's a contract year for him. He plays amazing defense. There's a couple balls he got to today that looked very easy that in previous series they would not have.
That one in the ninth inning. I mean, no one else that Judge gets there, but maybe I don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah, Judge is good going back. Well, anyway,
IKF slides for it.
Other people, maybe catch it, but it's an event.
Yeah,
it's a hold your breath situation. And that one, I was like, oh shit, he's gonna get there, huh?
Bader did like a lucky I'm really cool skip at the end.
Yeah, he caught it in midair.
Yeah, you see outfielders late jump for ball, and that's actually a bad sign, but he did like a peacock, like,
yeah,
this is fun.
Like a gymnast running down and just hitting the ramp, but it was kind of a false start. So they don't do the flip or anything, but they're like not going to stop their momentum. And then they kind of pose in the judge's face like, can't stop me.
7 RBI, 6 hits, 4 runs, almost on the team.
Yeah. So Bader's my pride.
That's a good one, Jim.
And then even start him in game 2. 2 for 2 off the bench. The game tying hit. Go ahead hit.
Off the bench, man.
Off the bench, man. Is that your award?
I'm gonna give out my pride, and I'm gonna go to Ian Hamilton.
Nice,
James. We've had our Talkin Yanks level fun with Ian Hamilton from the start because he's as intimidating of a player I've ever seen on the mound. He's also 27, and he looks a grizzled 30s, the opposite of me. He is a tough person, and he's also been through some shit. I remember when we originally talked about him, and he took a liner off the face, and like as bad as it can get for a pitcher, worked his way back for baseball. He throws the slambio. You're like, okay, that's an interesting word. Feels like you got a wet tongue when you say it. And then he's come in. He's been nothing but good. I noted in the first game, his 2 outs that he came out to get felt like the best I'd seen him look. Because, Jimmy, as you mentioned, chapters of the season, like when is Mike King going to pitch back-to-back day? Like when do the rules change? Because that was a deep conversation I had with myself today. Like, you know, how many times over the offseason do we tell us the Yankees don't take April seriously and they're above 500 and they're missing guys? And, you know, I sent myself through the whole whirlwind. Ian Hamilton in the first game, I thought he looked as good as I've seen him. He struck out Taylor Walls, who's a human menace and has also been really good this year. And then he gets LeMahieu to ground out. And then the next day, as we're wondering, okay, so Clay Holmes in the 8th, he actually has a pretty quick 8th inning. We're like, are the Yankees going to push him for 2? And that feels a little scary. Here comes Hamilton to start the inning. Gets Siri to fly out. Gets Walls again on a 7-pitch, 3-2 count. Gets a fastball past him. And then he gives up the double to Rayleigh, which you're like, oh, shoot. Now it's scary again. Like now the bloop and like everything's ruined. And he gets Paredes to fly out to right, to our right fielder, IKF. Hey man, getting that first save is always different. He gets his first save. He's been great for the Yankees this year. 19 innings, 23 strikeouts. Hammy.
Just a 2-pitch pitcher too. Well, yeah, I like how he attacks the zone a lot. Like his fastballs kind of feel heavy. Like they just he pours it right in there. Especially when he was in the save opportunity, the first pitch fastball, I felt like, whoa, like just feels like a heavy fastball. I don't know. That makes sense when I see it. But his scary face got better when I heard him talk in his post game. And then I thought he sounded like a Southern Florida guy, and I looked it up, and he's from Washington State. So
TNW.
Yeah.
Well, Pacific Northwest guy that's gone through tragedy is a tough Southern guy.
Forgot about that.
Yeah. Baseball Savant checks out if you're into that thing.
Don't look at burritos.
Don't look at burritos.
If you're into that sort of thing.
But yeah, good for Ian Hamilton. And I hope, again, it's a baby step. He's been really good for a 5th of the Yankee season, but, he's got a chance to be a bright spot of this Yankee season, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Nice. I agree. Good pride.
Thanks, Jim.
I didn't think about a second. I didn't ponder one because I knew I had the first and I was given debater, but I think it did well.
Thank you. I think there was one other guy that was an option.
What about this next award, Jake? This MFer thing.
You Yankee motherfucker.
It sounded harsher today.
People probably want us to say Boone, but we did that already, like 2 eps ago. I'm gonna try and find a player. I don't have like Cole's line is like if that was 5 runs in the first, he's probably the MFer. But the way it went down, I think he could have been saved from that. Offensively, some people like a lot of people got knocked, especially you put up 6 runs in the end. There's not a glaring one there. There's one that I don't really want to touch, but I could touch. And there's one that is a guy who dropped the ball, and if he wins it, they probably win the game. So I'm going Bowers.
Yeah.
That was like kind of like a big moment.
That was a big moment, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I don't got more to say on it.
Yeah, I mean,
he's not an outfielder.
0 for 7 today.
What did today? They pinch hit him for IKF?
Yes.
Like when Ryan Thompson came in.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Iggy pinch hits for Calhoun. Bowers pinch hits for IKF. Basically, if you're not in the top 5 hitters or 4, if when Bader was hurt and Calhoun was 5, your individual skill set has less input into the algorithm than lefty righty splits. It's just lefty or righty. They're not thinking we're taking Bowers for IKF. They're thinking we're going lefty right. Bowers lefty right. I don't.
Bats
or am
lefty,
I talking?
Yes. And lefty.
And same with Higgy and Calhoun. So they just strip identity of the backup. And I don't even know if they're wrong because it's not like those guys' stats warrant. It's just how bad of a spot we're in.
Yeah, the spin is basically like, the Yankees have such a switchable bench right now.
It is. You could switch it out and not notice.
IKF can play anywhere.
Not a lot of teams can say that, Jake.
Not a lot of teams can say that.
A lot of teams start going to their bench that deep. You notice. You're like, these guys are a little worse. Not the Yankees. You don't notice that at all.
You don't. So, yeah, it would have been nice to catch that ball.
Yeah. You're up. It's your time to talk. You get to give your MFer.
My Yankee MFer. I think I'm gonna go Volpe.
That was the other option.
Yeah, he gets 2 hits in the first game, and then he goes 0 for 11 after that. 0 for 9, and it felt like that. I was proud of him and his extra inning at bat. My one ask was, you've got that inside out swing, use it. He hits a fly ball to right that would have been a much more dangerous ball at Yankee Stadium, but he did his job. So I'm not mad about that. In a moment where we needed a constructive at bat, he did it. But Flaherty noticed, and it was pretty noticeable. Again, I'm watch a lot of baseball. I'm nowhere near a hitting guru. He's pulling out on the ball, like middle school, scared of fastballs, opening up his hips like very clearly.
Joe's in roulette. His barrel's like not through the zone on some of these fastballs.
So yeah, and I think some of those. No, the phrase is, if we were calling the game, it would be he's in between pitches right now. Because I actually think he got a first pitch slider, and that was more daunting for him because it was away, and he had already pulled out that he couldn't get there. So yeah, it's a little bit of a tough one, but he also had a couple big at bats in this series that I whispered to Beebs today, like Volpe have a moment. It would have been a really nice time when what was a big game and now kind of isn't. So
when Judge back, I'd get him out of leadoff.
I think so.
I'd go DJ, Judge, Rizzo, Glaber, Bader. and and then Volpe after Bader. Or you can put Volpe in front of Bader if you want. But when Judge is back Tuesday, I think you got to get Volpe out of the leadoff spot. You can put Judge there if you want. If you want to keep playing him like you're doing and putting the faith in him, I love it. I like it still. I'm not backing out of that yet, but not in the leadoff spot. He's being asked to do a lot.
Yeah.
When he should be developing. First series down at the turf against those pitchers, you expect it. You expect the rest of the Yanks kind of carry. And if he does great, you're like, hell yeah. And if he struggles, you're like, well, guys, it's his first time playing there, blah, blah, blah. But there's still a lot of patience, but I think when Judge is back, they got to move him out because the numbers are bad.
Yeah,
and the Yankees need to win.
Let's get Judgy back. And then, yeah, I'll be interested to see what they do. If they just leave it and they say figure it out, or do they send him back to 9, or will they put him in a middle part of the lineup, because they haven't really done that. He batted 7th once, otherwise it's been 1 or 9. So yeah, developing story for Oakland.
Yeah. All right, tough love it is. And he made that error, and I think they didn't rule it an error, but we've run into 3 now. In the last 3 series, I believe, or something like that. So he still looks like a shortstop to me. The arm's the only thing, but you can get by without having one. Dansby made some crazy plays this weekend, but his feet work, his glove work still looks like very much like a capable shortstop. But I think 3 easy errors in the last 3 series. So
yeah,
not great.
Yeah, I know. He's not going to get talked about because he's been hurt. Today was the first day he was cleared to play. But Peraza, I want if he becomes a part of this season, which again I think the odds lean less than more right now. Even a couple of the relays home, I noticed Volpe's arm, and you're like, that's you got to be really good at shortstop with everything else, yeah. And he kind of is. He's obviously a young developing player, but he's quick and the glove seems sharp, but. Yeah, the reason Carlos Correa is really good, like Carlos Correa doesn't move great. He's a big body that can get to the ball, but he has a cannon attached to his arm that the play is never a problem. So without that, you're fighting from behind.
Talk about relays. When Correa was on the Astros, they wouldn't send the second baseman out to relay right. Correa was the relay guy no matter where the ball was.
It's a weapon.
Okay. Rocket.
6-year contract.
What the hell did I?
What the hell were we talking about?
I don't know. I was going to say something I forgot.
Do you want to go to the awards?
Yeah, I guess.
They're brought to you by Lightbox, Jim. Mother's Day, a week from today. Mm-hmm. Wowie, wow. Get your loved one, your mother, your wife, a frog, it's a lady frog that lives with you. Go get them some Lightbox lab-grown diamonds, okay? They're not the normal socks, flowers. Someone's guilty of that every year. Get sparkly studs, brilliant necklaces. These gems will make her jaw drop. Whether it's your mom or your spouse, getting a stunning stone from Lightbox lab-grown diamonds is a guaranteed win with pricing you'll understand, especially with code TalkinYanks10. No G in the middle. TalkinYanks10, 10% off your purchase. Shop Lightbox lab-grown diamonds. Use TalkinYanks10, 10% off your purchase. There's a link in the descriptor. Hello. You got your regular award?
Yeah, I got my regular award. What? Okay, I just want to look up one thing.
Looking at one thing.
What's the? Oh my God, there's a lot of Thompsons that play in the Major League Baseball right now. In Major League Baseball, what's the Rays Thompson name? Their pitcher?
Ryan.
They might have
Keegan.
others.
Keegan. What am I going to name this award?
Why'd you say Keegan?
2 questions. award.
2 questions. I've got a really good bad story with 3 questions, but 2 questions. You've got.
If you get this, it'd be wild because this is a shitty award by me.
Damn, yo. That stinks, man.
It goes to 2 people. I mean, one person.
Let's straighten this out. It's a 1-person award, but there's 2 questions.
Yeah.
For that 1 person?
Yeah. Or about. I could spin it if you want it to be to him or about him. Depends who I'm talking to, really.
Gleyber Torres.
Close. Same. They're countrymen. No. Oswaldo Cabrera.
I was going to go there, and I audibled right at the last second.
1 question. Did you do enough?
Mm.
Someone's being sent down on Tuesday, and I think the options are going to be Cabrera or Peraza, and I think it's Peraza. But did you do enough to beat out IKF, who's getting all your spots? Blah, 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 blah. Because he had some hits and sack fly in game 3 here. The other question is, you hit lefties? Or hit as a righty? Yeah. Can you hit lefties? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they don't start him versus lefties. But I think both times they have, he's gotten hits versus the lefty.
His only homer this year was as a righty.
And wasn't his Fleming's a lefty, so his first hits at bats were as a righty, where I think he had a sack fly and a hit. And then Thompson, he went back to lefty and got the big double. But what gives?
Yeah, I was surprised to see him at third and IKF at right today. And I ran that one through the Jake machine a couple times. I think they're doing trade value stuff. I think as you've noted, they don't have a ton of trade pieces. I think today getting him some third base run when you're starting him in IKF was to show teams he can do that. And again, he made one tough play, or excuse me, he didn't make the play on the Gleyber throw to third. Yeah, it's, one of our first interviews with Booney, he was a little taken back when I asked about Oswaldo not playing because they did the double. He missed 2 days and they gave Hicks 2 starts versus lefties, I believe. And yeah, man, I won't defend Cabrera's overall numbers. He has not been good. But a player can have bad months in baseball. Especially a young player, especially a young switch hitter. How many switch hitters have you talked about, one swing's working, one swing's not? Or, it's rare that it's never working at the same time. Like, that when he was getting originally benched for that, which he hadn't shown was like a fatal flaw. Like,
yeah.
it wasn't like, he's competing as a lefty, he's not as a righty. Like, the stats last year balanced out a little bit. And then to tell a young player that, into the season, we don't believe you can do this. I think that's bad. And I'm not going to use that to blame Oswaldo's problems early on. But yeah, the questions are good, Jim, because he steals a base in a big spot today, which I've been running through my head. Like, does Oswaldo have that? I kind of didn't know.
Been running a lot through your head.
He runs through. I wear his necklace, dude. I'm actually not wearing it because
I can see it right now.
We went to.
You don't think they started Oswaldo Cabrera at third and IKF and right because Oswaldo Cabrera is the better third baseman?
I think they can play similar third bases. While Oswaldo in right field last year was like a killer. Like, he was like a weapon that I would.
Yankee Stadium right field.
Yeah, but still, we only have so much of a sample size from this kid.
Neither of them have been
I also ran that decision through my head.
Okay, so it was running through your head then.
It was a real. I don't have an answer. You can usually try to get into the mind of them. That's why I was asking. Like, I landed on maybe they just think Oswaldo's better at third, but do they think IKF's better at right? Do they think there's big enough of a change of hand? Like, they just does not matter either way, so they didn't fucking care? Did they like play rock, paper, scissors for it? I don't know.
The only thing that it feels like a Yankees chess move was, as we mentioned, Bauer's pinch hit for IKF, so maybe they thought they were lining that up in the future.
Oh my
so that
God,
Oswaldo
they were setting
wouldn't have
up
to
the
change
pinch hit.
mid-game.
Well, Bauer's probably going to pinch hit for IKF because he's a righty and Oswaldo's switch hitter. So IKF, he's got to come out. When we throw Bauer's in, it's going to be easier to send Bauer's right to the outfield and keep Oswaldo in the infield the whole game rather than throw Oswaldo to the infield for the last 3 innings. You just cracked the case. That has to be why they did it.
I do declare.
Good job, Jake.
One more Oswaldo.
Can we get like a judge, like a gavel sound effect on the soundboard that we never really use anyway? But because Jake and I, 2 episodes in a row now, have solved a Yankees riddle.
They
How about
declare.
like what's the Law and Order like? Da-dong.
Oh, but they copyright over that.
But even the whole thing?
Maybe we can do like part of it.
That's what?
Yeah.
Less than a second?
We should find some sound.
I remember like there was some movie that like used it and they had to pay crazy money for it.
Get something from my cousin Vinny.
Yeah, get something from my cousin Vinny.
Leave a comment what sound we should try to go find for this.
Or like there's
Good
watch every
court
episode
scenes.
of Perry Mason or and just find a good sound bit.
Find a good sound bit.
That was amazing. That's the only thing that makes sense. Well, we're gonna pitch hit Bowers for IKF, so it'll be easier just to keep Cabrera in the infield the whole game than move him halfway through. That has to be
when they move him all the time. One last Oswaldo thing hasn't translated on the field as far as results, unless today was a turning point. 2 for 3 was his final line, but last 11 games, 1 strikeout. So I don't know. At least he's cutting those out. Maybe that's a sign of something.
Wow. Okay. Good note.
Had a good game today, minus the non-catch. Okay. Should I go?
Yeah.
Jim, I think I've given out
Southern Tough Guys.
Similar awards to this before, but I'm going to give out the Chris Cross Award.
Oh. Applesauce. Crisscross applesauce. Used to be, you sit with your legs crossed. Some people call it Indian style, Guardian style. I don't. Crisscross. King? You going Mike King?
I'm not. I like that, though. You went with the old X-axis theory.
Yeah.
It's just a bad guess, though. Put BG next to it. Jim, Crisscross, famous for their song Jump, Jump. Don't you? It's Jump. But in the 3rd inning of today's game, Gleyber Torres lets his first pitch swing rip. He's not against that. And it was actually a pretty good swing on it, inside out. Again, a lot more dangerous ball at the stadium than Tampa, but and I was like, oh, man. It was a 4-pitch inning, 2 outs at that point. Volpe struck out on 3. Gleyber flew out first pitch, and I was like, oh, Rizzo, give us an at-bat here. He jumps first pitch, hits a homer. So, jump, and Rizzo, the second jump, he hit the homer. And I think we're due for him to get, hot again. I'm going to see if I need to butter knife something. He's got the beginning of, a heater going.
Gleyber?
Rizzo. Or no, Rizzo's kind of been coming down for a little bit, that he kind of needs to go back up. So I hope today's the start.
I thought the main crew played well this series.
None of them were really a problem.
Even,
unless you
they're
count
not going to
Volpe
go
as part of the main crew.
No, I don't count Volpe. I'm counting Rizzo, DJ, Gleyber, and I guess Bader, then, the starters.
Right.
The starters before spring training happened.
Yeah, Rizzo today, his last 15 games, 1 homer, 217, a 554 OPS. So, the past week and a half, Rizzo hasn't been good.
It looks like it's past, but now it's 5 games in a row with a hit.
Yeah, so if we could get a Rizzo heater, Oakland at the stadium, like it'd be good to get the Rizzo bounce back because he was 1 dot in OPS wise April 20th, 420. And now coming in today, it was an 805 OPS. So yeah.
Yeah. That's why I homered.
So get hot.
Jump wasn't the award. It was the answer to the riddle.
The answer to the riddle.
Crisscross was the award. Who do I want to talk about?
Who's your next award?
Want to talk about?
Your next award going to, Jimbo?
I don't know, but we need to talk about this one guy. So I'm trying to think of an award that could be for that one guy because it's a conversation that needs to be had. Ooh, okay.
Ooh. Oh. Yeah.
Western movie.
Can you say that one more time?
Westerns award.
I thought that'd help.
Westerns, like Westerns movie genre.
Why do you want to talk about Aaron Hicks?
Because we have to.
Okay.
And I just have to. Western movies, the cowboy rides off into the sunset.
Right.
On like a happy note. And Hicks hit a double today. And what did Troy Tulowitzki do in his Yankee career? He hit a double, and then he said, I'm on my horse, and I'm fucking out. I got good vibes. I made the last shot on the basketball court. I can leave now. Yeah, and you guys might think I'm cutting it early, but I don't want to risk taking another shot because I just made that one. It was pretty cool, so I'm just going to leave now on that good feeling. Let's not think this is going to build to something. Let's dance it off with some bubbly feet. Pull a Troy Tulowitzki. Go hang out.
Westerns award.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, weird mix of like happy that you get to feel that way, but also, I don't know. If anyone in the front office is given like fist pumps, like that's a problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It also wasn't even like a double. It wasn't over the infielder's head. He was just very late on a fastball.
Poked it. Nice double, Hicksy.
It's a nice piece of hitting, but like for him, I don't know if that scratches the like I got power itch.
Should bring up coming into today a -5 OPS plus, so hopefully that comes up.
It got down. It went down. We were at 4 last week when I did the whole thing all about like how crazy it is and went to -5.
I mean, the double today should shake that up pretty good. Double in a walk.
What do you think? You think we're getting back into the positives?
I think so.
Like 10?
I think when you get to negative, if you get a good thing to happen.
Like, do you think we're coming back up above 5?
I would say right on 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did all the left fielders play in game 4?
Did all the left fielders
in game 3? They did, huh? How'd they do as a collective? Hicks got a hit. IKF didn't get any hits. Bauer didn't get any hits. So Cabrera got 2 hits. So the one of the left fielders.
Cabrera and Hicks both had fine games.
3. Yeah.
Okay. Hicks is WRC plus, same scale as OPS plus for the people at home. Went from -6 today. It is now 7.
Whoa!
So that's a big jump.
Hot.
Caliente.
Every time they start him, Jake, I'm like, what are they doing? Is this because like, hey, Hicksy, here's your last 3 games and we're going to pull the plug? Or what are you doing? Like every time he started a lot lately. I don't know if that's accurate. but in my feelings, he started a lot lately. That could be 2 out of the last 5. That's still kind of a lot for what's happening.
Yeah, I think 3 starts in May.
Well, how many games have there? 5? So 3 out of the last 5?
5 or 6, yeah. Today's the
Okay.
7th. So yeah, half, which is too much. Good award, Jim.
Thanks. It was the riding into the sunset was the answer.
Was the answer to the riddle.
Mhm.
Hey. Yabba dabba dabba. I'm gonna give out the guys award.
Guys. DJ LeMahieu gets the guys.
Obviously. He's
You
mad.
need to mark it down a little bolder than Jake's because I said it with such confidence.
I used your verbiage. If you didn't get that, I mean, I basically gave you the answer.
Guys.
So maybe do it. Maybe don't bold it, but like italics.
Guys, I get credit for guys.
Guys, you love that. Yeah.
It's from a movie, right?
Yes.
Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah. See? You're basically giving the whole award right now. I don't even know.
What scene is that? I can't remember, but it is funny.
I think it starts off the in the car scene. He does guys.
Oh, that's Gush.
DJ goes 5 for 11. 455 average, a couple walks too. If the Yankees had won 2 out of 3, I feel like we'd be ranting and raving about DJ this episode. Instead, we're not. So he's yelling guys at everyone because he's like, hey, we won today. Like, so a really good job. You mentioned the top half of the lineup, like really, or the guys, as you just labeled them, haven't seemed like they've been a problem. And I feel like each of them have kind of been having enough of their moments, while DJ, especially after including today, I think he's got a little 6-game hit streak. He's, I think after today, he's hitting 400 in his last 6 games. So he's having a good start to May that, win more and we would talk more DJ.
Yeah. He just looked like, I think it would stand out more if they were, you would guess, I think it would be standing out more because he's one of the only people hitting. But I actually think it's not standing out. And if the Yankees were winning right now and DJ was kind of hitting the way he hit this series, you'd be like, that's 2019 DJ. Like it's looking easy again. He's kind of looking like a machine again. That's how I felt the last 3 for DJ. Like he looks very comfortable. It looks like his foot thing is completely not bothering him. He's getting to the ball. So I don't know what the numbers say, but it does look very good. I think it's actually getting like buried amongst the bad.
And if he's
buried amongst the bad, that's a good band name for Zach. Maybe you and Zach.
We're wow.
Buried amongst the bad, like Zach is so good.
Zach,
He's DJ,
he's
and then
buried behind my badness.
You're
I got
the
it.
bad mate.
I put it together all in a moment.
You did?
Yeah.
I guarantee you, some of the podcast listeners didn't get it at all.
They still don't.
Yeah. What does he mean? I'll say it again.
Zach, the handsome
Buried
guy from the
amongst
pregame
the
show a
bad
couple years ago,
would be Jake and Zach's band name.
And if DJ's hot, you move him to lead off. That you can make that your excuse for moving Volpe down, so you don't have to think about it as something more than it is. Like, oh well, DJ's running, Judgy's back, so we like that top of the lineup. Bong, done.
I actually like the Yankees going Volpe 9. Is that what you just said? Judge lead off, not DJ.
I'm not
and
against that, but
it's the same cyclical cycle. That's so funny to think about. Like the first inning is different, the amount of at bats is different, but it's literally the same. You just move everyone down to Volpe 9.
Not against it.
Yeah, me either.
What else you got, Franco?
What'd you think about the Rays?
I mean, they're a
Don't care. Rays are boring, man. Let's not talk about them.
wow. Okay.
I don't know why they weren't better hitting wise. I didn't think we even put best. Our bullpen's nasty, but like the first 2 games, I was like, why aren't they hitting? I thought these guys were the best ever.
Yeah, I mean, they ended up getting Cole, so
Cole was tired.
okay.
You scared of them the rest of the way?
Not scared of them as a team. I'm scared of how far ahead of us they are.
Yeah, they're gonna win the division.
How many teams between?
They're pretty good, but I thought it was weird that the Yankees got their bullpen 3 times, kind of, or maybe just 2. Then game 3 now, and then Herman and Brito, Cordero, Hamilton. Were part of like stopping them. You wouldn't have expected that. Even you would have expected the Rays to win, but I don't think you would have expected some of those elements.
Yeah, I mean, they lost Springs midway through April, and Fairbanks had been incredible for them, and he recently went on the IL. So they, like any team, are starting to get their injuries. But no, I mean, they want to raise you, and hey, man, it would be pretty cool. When it was 6-0 today, they weren't out of the game. They showed that, and I think every Yankee game, you cannot say that.
They made me not believe in the sweeper.
Okay.
This series made me say this fad's gonna die.
Anti-sweeper.
Not anti-sweeper. Too many people are jumping on the sweeper.
Too many
It's
people
getting
sweeping.
watered down. That's the best way to say it.
Okay.
The pitch that everyone's developing in the lab, because the finger point technology helped them come up with this, called the sweeper, not the slider. Don't tell Jeff Nelson to call it a sweeper, though.
Hey, guys. Literally the best pitch in baseball right now is a splitter. In Japan, baseball has gotten so much better because of the splitter. Like, if you got a guy with big mitts on him, try splitting those fingers, baby, and let it drop.
You can do it with David Cohn, same exact size hands as me, and he threw a splitter.
Try it.
Yeah. Try it. But the sweeper's the new fad right now. And like they gave it its own name. And I think in 5 years, we're gonna be like, that didn't warrant that.
Yeah.
Only like 5 guys, and it's just a sweeping slider. Because the Rays and Yankees are the most we generate bullpen guys in the lab. It's actually the Rays, the Yankees, the Astros, and the Dodgers, and the San Francisco Giants got put on the list of like they enhance a reliever. But so like when I saw Kelly's sweeper, I was like, he didn't have that pitch 12 months ago. Like that's just a lab grown diamonds.
There you go.
What else do you have? You want to talk about that coach that looked like Garrett Cole and Don Zimmer combined?
Not particularly. Another guy that gets hurt by not having a beard and being a Yankee. I saw Gallo today, and his beard was so thick, and I was like, that was literally a part of it. Yeah, that guy, kind of tough break, but he's with the Yanks. I don't know what else I got. Hicks and IKF both had their first extra base hit this series, right?
All they needed was that cement grass. Bounces a little faster, gets to the wall. It's honest. They're both like, I think, turf-induced doubles. Actually, I don't really remember IKF.
IKF's was nice. He turned on it. It was over the third.
Yeah, I don't remember IKF. But Hicks was like, I was like, it's not like a cylinder.
I think like if Hicks was like a C, IKF was like the B+ version of that.
Nice. Yeah, Oakland's tomorrow or off tomorrow.
Yeah, I guess I'm Oakland tomorrow. I'm interested to see with how big of a lead the Rays have a division. Are we going to see the Yankees come out and do everything they can to win these Oakland games, or are they going to try to goof and gaff a little bit? And I lean goof and gaff.
I mean, they're goofing and gaffing every day because the roster construction is so crazy. Hicks and IKF started, man.
We're up 6-0 today. We could have won back-to-back series, one at the Rays, going into Oakland. Like, That's it's frustrating. I hope they take that frustration and they turn it into like a dominant Oakland series and we say, "Oh, okay, that is a team that's Oakland's won what? 7 games this year? Have they gotten there?"
The run differential was horrible.
Oakland is 8-27, a -124 run differential. We need 3, especially because, Jim, I don't even think we said it on here, but you eyed it first. 4 against Tampa, 4 against Toronto. 8 games after Oakland.
Was that just us chatting?
I think
after the
so.
show? Oh, should we share that thought then?
I
think you told me when we were chatting.
Kind of just did, but yeah.
I included this stretch because it was 3 against the Rays and then the Oakland series. I think there's another team at some point, but then 4 against Tampa, 4 against Toronto. And I basically said, when does that end? It was May
18th.
I was like, well, there's a possibility by May 18th, this team's No. What do we land on? We said there's a the division can be won by May 18th. Or they could fuck themselves out of first and second in the division on this stretch if they like really go poorly. And right now they're 1 for 3, 1 and 2. So, but if they like get swept by Toronto, Tampa, I mean, you're like scratching and clawing for 3rd place.
Yeah, I mean it's 8 games. That's why it's interesting to me. You don't normally see 2 back-to-back 4s, and against the other 2 teams in the division that are probably the favorites, while we're still banged up. And I wonder if it's why they went full Judge IL, like get him to Oakland. He'll get 2 games before then, like because yeah, I mean in that 8-game stretch, like worst case, you have to win like 3. And right now, against those 2 teams, that's a really tough ask. So I hope you take care of Oakland. Because, again, 2 compared to 3, I think will be significant. And get a little momentum going because you have to win some games. A bad stretch in those 8 games. And, yeah, it's like...
So we're going to see...
Blow the whistle.
Is there an off day in between Oakland and even if there is? So
the final Oakland game is going to be a punt day.
That's what I was just saying.
Yeah.
That final Oakland game, so you got to win the game 1 or 2. That final Oakland game is going to be, who's the starter?
Burrito.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Ramirez is going to pick up some innings in that game.
Mm.
They might bring Weissert back up for that last Oakland game. Because then they got 8 in a row in division, and we've seen them do this last year. They did this a lot. So,
and it's not necessarily the wrong move if you do it properly.
yes, yeah, but win the first 3, whatever it is. Shit. All right, well, that's talking Yanks. I was Jimmy, he was Jake, and we talked Yanks.
How do you like that?
Go Yanks. Tell him, Grams.
Go Yankees.